Hi, there's Armando with the Boxing Corner, having just seen two fights not long ago. It was two fights that were sort of pretty much pretty big hyped. It's fights that were across the big pond in England, obviously. It was a fight between Sergey Rabchenko versus Ryan Rhodes, and the big super fight in the super bantamweight division between Rendell Munroe and Scott Quigg. There was a lot of controversy in the last fight, the main event, but I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. First of all, there was Sergey Rabchenko versus Ryan Rhodes. Ryan Rhodes has been around for a long time. He's a veteran. I think the commentator was saying he's been around for about 17 years, so that's probably about half of his life, him fighting. Last time I heard of him, he fought against Saul Alvarez for that vacant junior middleweight belt. I'm not sure if it was the WBA or the WBO, but it was a fight that he didn't look very well in, and Alvarez, obviously the much younger fighter, ended up winning the fight. So that's the last that I heard of him. Now he's fighting a young Sergey Rabchenko. It was a fight that was real good. It was a lot of big shots. Regardless, round one, I gave it to Rabchenko because he kind of did a little bit more than Rhodes. Rhodes was kind of like warming up and stuff. Second round, I gave it to Rhodes. The second, third, and fourth, I gave it to Rhodes because, like, the third round they exchanged, and you had Rhodes catching Rabchenko with a right that stunned him, that had him on shaky legs. But then Rabchenko came back and caught him with I think a left that stunned Ryan Rhodes as well. I thought it was a close round, but I felt Rhodes just edged him by a little bit. Fourth round again, I think, I know that, at least for me, that Rhodes had the round, but it was still a close round because the entire fight, Rabchenko was putting a lot of pressure, and you can tell it was mentally getting to Ryan Rhodes because in the last three rounds, fifth, sixth, and seventh was all Rabchenko. He again was putting a ton of pressure, and he was just wearing him down. And it got to a point where Ryan Rhodes just looked like he was just ridiculously tired, and it seemed like he had enough, kind of. Seventh round, Rabchenko caught him with a left, and then I think he caught him with a counter body shot. Even though I didn't really see the body shot, like they kept replaying the knockout to the body, but I couldn't really see it very well. But that's what they said was, and Rabchenko ended up winning the vacant junior middleweight belt that I think was it Lucas Canensi. Sorry about, I really don't know how to pronounce his name, but he vacated the belt because I think he went to go fight for a interim belt. But regardless, Ryan Rhodes, you can tell he was a better boxer, but just the pressure from Rabchenko was just too much for him. Now the main event, it was very hyped up because the super bantamweight division in England is ridiculously, it's very much talked about. I'm just starting to get into like the English-based boxing, and from almost a year ago, I've always heard Scott Frampton, Rendell Munroe, and Scott Quigg. The big three of the super bantamweight division over there. You had two fighters meeting up against each other, which is Rendell Munroe and Scott Quigg. And Carl Frampton was there, looking because he wants to fight, the winner of these two guys. Now Frampton is going to fight Kiko Martinez very soon, within the next month or so. He's going to fight him, I believe. But regardless, Rendell Munroe, Scott Quigg, very hyped. Fight begins. Munroe, from the get-go, in the first round at least, he was the more aggressor. Scott was kind of very cautious. He looked like he was fighting kind of scared. Like he was kind of trying to measure him up. But for the most part, I think Munroe showed a lot of confidence and the pressure on Quigg, because Quigg was doing a lot of I won't say he was running, but he was doing a lot of backpedaling, but not backpedaling in a sense of like he just was moving a lot more to get out of his way, out of Munroe's way. Second round, I still gave it to Munroe. I know Quigg landed two big shots, but the commentators were saying that it was a 1-1 piece. I don't think two shots can win a round, in my opinion, when the other guy is just walking him down and he was constantly throwing, but he wasn't really landing. But the aggressiveness and the ring generalship, I think I still gave it to Munroe because of that. Quigg was still kind of picking his shots, but wasn't really landing too much except for those two big shots he landed, which didn't really stun Munroe too much. Third round kicks in. Quigg was starting to look much better, but they ended up fucking clashing heads. Munroe on his right side had a big gash, and they went to the corner. The doctor saw it, and he stopped the fucking fight. And the entire arena was like, what the hell? And you could even see in Rendell Munroe that he was ridiculously like, come on, man. Like, you could even hear him say fuck a couple of times. He was like, fuck. And the fight was stopped. It ended up being a draw. It was a fight that was, like I said, was ridiculously hyped, and ended up being a draw because of the clash of heads. Since I think it was before 4 rounds, like I said, they do the draw, or I'm not sure if it's a no contest, but it was a draw. So the that's bullshit, because are they gonna rematch, or are they gonna go about their own separate ways? But based on my opinion, seeing Scott Quigg, I think Frampton would definitely beat him. But Scott Quigg was looking very good against them in that third round. You never know what would have happened, but as of now, it's the clash of heads, and the fight's over. So that's kind of a robbery for the fans, because they've been wanting this fight for so long. So we'll see what happens between Kiko and Carl Frampton, and hopefully the winner of that them two will probably fight either Rendell or Scott Quigg. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. This is the Boxing Corner with Armando, and I'll see you next time.